February 17th, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of the City of Longview is now called to order. Mr. Jason Jones will deliver our prayer and pledge of allegiance. If you'll stand with us.
If you want to bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for the free gift of salvation that your Son Jesus Christ paid for on the cross. Thank you for everyone that's here today. Please help us make decisions in the best interest of the city and all the citizens, and please let everyone have a safe trip home. In Jesus Christ's holy name, amen. Amen. Say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, sir. Next item is approval of the minutes from our last meeting in January. Has everyone had a chance to look at them? If so, are there any corrections? If not, I will now entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We've now reached the citizen comment portion of our meeting. This portion of our citizen comment are comments made other than the public hearing items we have on our agenda tonight. If you wish to speak on an item on the agenda, please wait until that time to speak. Please begin by stating your name and address for the public record. Now on to the regular agenda. The purpose of this meeting is to hear all pertinent testimony of those in support of and opposition to the applications before our commission. Tonight is the first of two public hearings required to approve a change in zoning. The commission also considers plats. The procedures for public hearing items to be followed tonight will be: the public hearing will be opened and testimony will be heard in the following order. First, staff; second, the applicant; third, the general public, those in support of and opposition to this request. If you are part of a large group with a common interest, we ask that you appoint a spokesperson rather than have each individual restate the same information. When addressing the commission, please begin by stating your name and address. Try to limit comments to 5 minutes. When all sides have spoken, the public hearing on the matter will be closed and no further public discussion will be entertained. After each public hearing is closed, the commission will vote on the request. Zoning request and Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation will go forward to the second public hearing, which will be conducted by the City Council on March 26, 2026. We are now on to item A of the regular agenda.
Thank you.
And I believe that Jason is going to abstain from that one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Item A, a public hearing will be held to consider application S26-01 filed by Brookwood Village LTD, requesting a specific use permit to allow for a restaurant with a private club in General Retail Zoning District for Lot 10, Block 849, Brookwood Place subdivision, located on the east side of McCann Road, north of Meadow Brook Drive. The applicant is requesting a specific use permit to allow for a restaurant with on-site consumption of alcoholic beverages in addition to beer and wine in General Retail Zoning District. In our current UDC, and the way the UDC is, it says private club, but he is not doing a private club. The private club, the definition of a restaurant that serves alcoholic beverages in addition to beer and wine is restaurant with private club. SUP is required to ensure no negative impact on surrounding properties. In 2000, a similar SUP was granted for a restaurant within this shopping center, but it was specifically for that suite only in 2000. McCann Road is classified as a principal arterial roadway and is maintained by TxDOT, and this type of development is appropriate along this roadway as long as access management is followed. Staff finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with our future land use map and surrounding uses, therefore it does not constitute spot zoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Angela. Does the commission have any questions for Angela at this time? All right. Anybody have any questions, or the commission have any questions for the applicant on this item? All right. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any in support of this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm John Farrell, a partner in the ownership of Brookwood Village Shopping Center.
Okay.
And I hope each of you has received a page of photos taken of 7 Point Seafood and Bar renderings. Architects did very good-looking work on the renderings, and he's got larger copies of them as well. This is David Liu. I'm John Farrell. That's David Liu. David Liu and his wife Betsy already operate other high-end and successful restaurants. David has K-Pot, the former Luby's Cafeteria, and Betsy has the Mighty Crab, which is the former Copeland's. This is a very exciting event for Brookwood Village and for the McCann Road area. This is what we're going to do, and this is why we're here tonight.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else in support of this request?
Say what?
I was just asking if anybody else was in support of this request. All right. Are there any in opposition to this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. All right. Any additional questions or comments?
Angela, the other suite, the El Sombrero Suite, still has the alcohol permit
That is correct.
right
Yeah,
now?
they still have their SUP.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Anyone else? All right. If there are no additional questions or comments, I will now entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
All right. Motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Thank you, Heath. We won't keep you in there all night. All right. Now on to item B of the regular agenda.
Thank you. Public hearing be held to consider application Z26-02 filed by First T Piney Woods requesting a rezone from agricultural to heavy commercial zoning district for approximately 5.464 acres of abstract 256 Marshall Man Survey, tracks 15.01, 16, and 16-01, section 3, located at 4430 West Loop 281. The applicant is requesting a rezone of this property shown here on the zoning map from agricultural to heavy commercial zoning district located on the east side of West Loop 281, south of JC Drive. The applicant is proposing to develop this property into an office for a nonprofit organization along with outdoor putting greens. In 2009, this property was annexed into the city of Longview. When annexation occurs, the property is automatically assigned an agricultural zoning designation. As development and redevelopment occurs, the land then needs to be rezoned to accommodate for that development or redevelopment. The property immediately to the north of this property is zoned heavy commercial. The applicant's proposed development does require the heavy commercial zoning district, as outdoor putting greens are classified as permanent outdoor amusement, which is permitted by right within heavy commercial zoning district. Loop 281 is classified as a principal arterial roadway and is maintained by TxDOT. Proper access management along this corridor is critical to minimize traffic congestions and delays. Staff finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with surrounding uses, therefore it does not constitute spot zoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Anybody in the commission have any questions for Angela on this item? All right. Is the applicant present? Okay.
My name is Suzanne Smith, 1016 Riverwood Drive, Longview, Texas, and I am the real estate broker that is handling this transaction. I filled out a speaker card just in case you have specific questions for me, but I would like to introduce you. Mia King is the executive director with First T, and I'd like to introduce her, and she brought some additional documents for you.
Okay.
Mia?
Hey you guys, my name is Mia King, 1107 Lovers Lane, and as she stated, I am the executive director of First Tee Piney Woods. If you don't know a little bit about First Tee, it is a leadership and youth organization that teaches leadership and life skills through the game of golf. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions for me? Okay. All right. Thank you
Easy
very much.
peasy.
All
Okay,
righty.
thank you.
Let's see, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any in support of this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is Casey Broadus. I'm the program director for First Tee Piney Woods,
Okay.
6615 State Highway 43 North, Marshall, Texas. Do you guys have, and lady, do y'all have any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions? All righty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All righty. Anyone else in support of this request? All right. Are there any in opposition to this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff. All right. Any additional questions or comments? All righty. I will now entertain or if there are no additional questions or comments, I will now entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
All right. Motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We are now on to item C of the regular agenda.
Thank you. Public hearing will be held to consider application Z 26-03 filed by Tommy Finkley requesting a rezone from agricultural and single-family 4 to single-family 5 zoning district for approximately 14.13 acres of abstract 75 A Fuggerson Survey, tract 13, located on the south side of Swinging Bridge Road, west of Wilbert Street. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property shown here on this zoning map from single-family 4 and agricultural to single-family 5 zoning district. The applicant is proposing to develop this property into a single-family subdivision. There is an increasing demand for different housing options in Longview with a focus of affordability and density. The proposed rezoning is a necessary step in accommodating the growing demand for housing. Swinging Bridge Road is classified as a local roadway and is maintained by the city. Access management is essential to avoid traffic congestion and delays caused by turning movements for vehicles entering and exiting the roadway. The applicant will enter and exit onto Swinging Bridge Road. Staff finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with the future land use map and surrounding uses, therefore it does not constitute spot zoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Anybody on the commission have any questions for Angela on this item?
I've asked you 100 times, but difference between SF4 and SF5?
Yes. So SF4 requires a 60-foot wide lot by 100-foot. SF5 allows for a 50 by 100. Minimum lot area for SF5 is 5,000 square foot. For 4,000, it is 7,500 square feet. Minimum house size in SF5 is 800 square foot. And in SF4, I believe it's 1,000 or 1,200. Let me double check. It is 1,200 square foot in SF4. And then the setbacks do vary slightly. SF5 requires a 25-foot front setback, where SF4 would have a 30-foot front setback.
Those houses along Swinging Bridge, right in front of it, what zoning is that?
That is SF4.
That's it for?
Anybody else have any questions for Angela? All right. Is the applicant present? Sir.
Good afternoon. My name's Tommy Finkley, 4736 West Loop 281, Longview, Texas, 75604. So this is going to be split into two phases, about 7.1 acres on the front, and I think 7.41 on the second phase. 25 lots in the first phase, 31 lots in the second phase, for a total of 56 lots. And the price range that we're be going for on these would be just right under $350.
All right.
Somewhere between $325 and $350 on these, about 1,650 to 1,700 square foot houses.
All right. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for the applicant?
What on the lot size isn't working with SF4? Do you know?
We're just trying to go with a little bigger house, and a little bigger house really can't go out, so we're going to a bigger lot than we did on the front.
Wouldn't SF4 be the bigger lot?
Yeah, SF4 is a bigger lot,
Well,
SF5.
excuse me.
Yeah,
It'll allow the houses to be wider so that we can push the bedrooms out and go. The houses on the front are, I don't know, let's see, the last two ones that were just built by East Texas Homes, they were like 1505. The last two lots that were taken down, so we're trying to go a little bit bigger on our square footage. So
and I think also the setbacks, I think
The
the
set-
setbacks were
setbacks.
also a concern, the 30-foot setback versus a 25-foot setback. A 25, even though it's just 5 feet, it just allows for a little bit more wiggle room,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
and the width too, so we can push the houses out a little bit.
So you're not building 800 square foot houses?
No,
is what-
absolutely
yeah,
not, absolutely not.
Yeah, okay.
The width of the SF4 is it 60?
It's
It's
60,
60.
and SF5 is 50.
So it's actually narrower.
It
As far
is.
as a minimum, those were the minimums, right?
Yes, that's
yeah.
correct, that is a minimum.
So these are like right at these are like 55 by 130s. That's real close. Some are a little deeper, but the minimum of every one of these lots is 55. There's a couple in there that are 56, I think, and there's a couple that are 60.
So you're quite a bit deeper than the minimum,
We
but
are.
just not quite as wide to get you into SF4.
Yes, sir. We're trying to go push our square footage up.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any in support of this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff. All righty, are there any in opposition to this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Cindy Sturdivant, and I'm at 1113 Pine Bluff Drive, which is the street, I don't know how to explain this to you. Can I point it to you?
Sure.
For you? We're back behind the trees right here. That's my house.
All right.
So, on the edge of our backyard backs up to that, and it's a cliff, is what we have. And his is also a cliff also. My concern is the safety of it, because for whatever reason, the cliff is now eroding. We have lost over 30 feet wide and at least 15 feet deep of our property has fallen down into the dry creek that we live on. So it's not safe anymore. And when you build houses for families, especially if he's talking about building bigger houses now with bigger bedrooms and stuff for families, and therefore there'll be kids. And I just don't know what precautions he's taken, because not only is our side falling, his side is falling also a little farther down from where he's talking about changing the zoning right now. So my concerns was for safety for children, because I have grandsons. They want to go down in the creek. They can't go down in the creek because these boulders that are falling off the cliff are not small rocks. They're the size of a small Volkswagen Bug. I think I've given you pictures. I'm sorry I didn't have enough. I didn't realize that there was this many. So, but those are the pictures of the cliff that's falling. My house has been up there for 70 years, and there was a chain link fence at the edge of our property that has fallen in. So, because of whatever reason it is, I won't go into that, but
So you just have concerns, or you're just like,
our property goes to the middle of the dry creek. His property goes to the middle of the dry creek. Yes, I have concerns, safety concerns, that if he has kids there, what's going to keep them out? That's my property that is in the middle of that dry creek. If someone went down into that creek and the rocks fell on them,
that's just, I mean, that's a liability he's gonna have to deal with himself, probably. I mean,
oh, okay, so you're okay with building multiple houses on something that is not safe?
we're just zoning. What he does with
Okay.
it is within zoning, but
Okay,
they're not gonna not zone it for that reason, I wouldn't think. I don't know. I mean,
The other question that I have, then, there used to be a pipeline that ran through with danger signs marking the pipeline, and those have disappeared now. So, okay, that's all I have to say.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What would you recommend somebody do to help alleviate the erosion there? It's your property, and it's eroding on your property. So what would you do? What have you done?
I'm still having discussions with the city on, because of Harrison Road. When they widened Harrison Road is when the erosion started. And that's why I was wondering if, what kind of engineering stuff they're gonna do for drainage and stuff, since it's not city drainage actually back there.
It's just a creek bed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in opposition to this? Yes, sir.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Roderick Smith, and I live at 1112 Swinging Bridge Road, which is one of the houses that is at the top there, 1112 Swinging Bridge Road. And we have a concern, our concern with the rezoning of case Z 26-03 is will it be compatible with the current infrastructure and the character of our neighborhood? Swing Bridge Road functions like a regular residential area. So there are many concerns that we have, the narrowing of the road, because it is like an oil road. The compost plant is at the end. And on Thursdays through, I believe, Saturdays, there's a lot of traffic on that road. So right there in the curve, if you're coming into where we're talking about, there's a bridge there. It's very narrow. And the residents, sometimes when you meet in a car, you've got to actually slow down, get over, and sometimes not enough, and they're big trucks. So to build homes in there, that kind of frightens me, that extra traffic. Before any rezoning is approved, our specific concerns is, has there been a traffic analysis for that road? Has there been a drainage, stormwater study done for that? And how many I think you've already mentioned the resident units that would be realistically allowed under the suggested zoning if it does come to pass. And is Swinging Bridge Road classified and designed to handle that level of traffic? I have some neighbors that are here with me, and I also kind of went door to door, kind of getting everybody's opinion that could not be here tonight, have some signatures that are with us, and I'd like to give this to you. If you would.
let me ask, Angela, it's already zoned SF5. Four.
Right now, a portion of it's zoned SF4. Most of it is zoned agricultural. But a lot of those studies that you talk about are done after the zoning is in place. A lot of times the developer, those studies cost a lot of money. And so usually they don't spend that money up front until they're guaranteed that zoning is in place. Okay. And then once that zoning is in place, they've already engaged their engineer. I see their engineer in the crowd. And so they have engaged an engineer. And that at that time, our engineer and their engineer will work together to look at the drainage. If a TIA, a traffic impact analysis, is required by the city, at that time, the city engineer will say, hey, we need to do a traffic impact analysis if that's required. And same thing with drainage. All of that's looked at usually after the zoning is in place. Yeah.
And lastly, just wrapping it up, like I said, when you're coming into the area where you turn off to go to the area you're planning on enlarging there, that bridge is very narrow. I mean, so that bridge would have to be
It's a narrow road and a narrow
It's a
bridge.
narrow road, so there's a lot of congestion on that road. And the speed. We've been living there for 15 years now, and we've asked the city to try to, get the citizens to slow down, and there are times when it's like a motor speedway through there. So when you add that, I just have a lot of concerns about it.
And I
Thank you for
think,
your
did
time.
you ask how many lots would be in that subdivision, I believe? Was that a
Yes.
question? So I know that with one point of access, he cannot exceed 60 lots. And so I do know that will be,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate it. All right. Anybody else in opposition? All right. Any additional questions or comments? Yes, go ahead.
I'm here.
Yes.
My name is Rachel Speed, and I live on 1114 Swinging Bridge. In addition to my neighbors' concerns as well as my own, just hearing the pricing for the potential homes that are being built, that would increase our appraised values of the home, which would then raise our taxes. So I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
But also, again, on the bridge of Swinging Bridge Road, not only is it narrow, but it's old. And it could, we have 18-wheelers going to the compost site throughout the week, Tuesday through Saturday. They speed down that road. We've asked, like he said, we've asked for them to not speed. They've hit mailboxes. It's a very narrow road. My son rides his bike, and I fear every time he goes around that bridge, somebody's not going to pay attention. But I can't let him not be a child either and ride his bike. So I just wanted to add to those concerns.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we hear from Mr. Finkley?
Yeah.
On what his thoughts on the erosion and like the access?
I know these the family that, her and her husband, I've known them for a long time, and I couldn't remember her name, but, so to your question about the line, they abandoned the line. And, that's one of the reasons why I'm proceeding, because there's a sales meter run right here on the west, at the end of the west side, and they kept that one as their new sales meter. So when you come in the front of the ferry property, you kind of come down that road and you kind of go to the left there, where you kind of see a road there. That's an abandoned mid-coast pipeline, and they abandoned it about 5 years ago. To speak about the creek, on her side of the creek and some of her neighbors on the other side of that creek, their property's a lot higher than mine. It sits up a lot higher than mine. And not that we're gonna build, some of mine's gonna be built up on your side, especially right in front of your house there. It's gonna be built up probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 feet. So, but the erosion from her house, like she did say, my property line is in the middle of the creek and her property line is in the middle of the creek. She just happens to be on the highest point of all the houses that look down onto my property. And I think it's right in front of lot 12, what we're talking about. But she has had some rocks fall. There's some pretty sizable rocks in the creek, iron ore rocks. And I haven't seen them all, but she did put a sign up on the back of her property that says something like "Watch for falling rocks" or something, and you can see it from my property, where she put it on her back fence, or I guess. So, I can't speak to the erosion that's happened that's caused her rocks to fall down. All I know is that at the back of my properties, we'll have fencing there. Every lot will be fenced. And I am gonna put something in the HOA probably that's going to address the fencing. We're trying to take what we did when I developed the first 18 lots on Swinging Bridge Road. I had a partner. This was back in 2008, I guess, when we first did it, and he's since passed away. So we're trying to build a little bigger house a little nicer community. And these lots aren't gonna face Swinging Bridge Road the way that the ones on the front ones did. We're actually gonna create a neighborhood. We're trying to create a little step, a little bit above what's there now, is what we're trying to do.
You'd have one entrance point.
Yes, sir.
What's your thoughts on the traffic concerns that they talked about?
You know, I hired Johnson and Pace to take care of all my engineering, and Joe Hart's here with me. And of course, we will abide by all city ordinances and all applicable situations that come up.
How many lots did you say you planned? I don't,
It's 56 total.
56.
The way that we had talked about it before, when I was considering doing the SF4, it was gonna be 92 lots. There was gonna be 92 houses in there. And so, what I'm trying to do is kind of go up from what we built to begin with. And go to the SF5 zoning. But as far as I'm not an engineer, so I can't speak to her problem with the rocks that are falling off, except that her house is at the very top of that creek, and I'm gonna say it's about 60, 70 feet down. Maybe 40 feet, 40 to 50 feet, it's up there, so.
Have you been back to the back part of your property? Because you're losing it too.
Well, my property doesn't run all the way to the Sabine River, it stops. It's,
Right behind our house, still, just straight across from
Straight across behind
our back corner where we walk
Yeah.
down that one,
Mhm.
that cliff part of yours, you're losing that there.
yeah, right behind your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been back there to see. I know there's some sizable rocks in the bank on both of our sides. You know, because it kind of comes down low, and then it kind of goes real low.
We used to go gradually down into the creek bed.
Ma'am?
You've got a little 10-foot probably.
Yeah.
You got 10-foot drop now.
Okay.
It's eroded
Okay.
also.
Okay. All right. I like I said, I can't speak to the erosion. I'm not an engineer or anything like that, so. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
And I have my engineer, Joe Hart, from Johnson and Pace. He's here if you have any questions.
Okay. Would he be able to address any of the erosion concerns?
Thank you. I'm Joe Hart with Johnson and Pace, 1201 Northwest Loop 281 here in Longview. This creek is so wide, it is huge. So any erosion that's on her property is actually independent of Tommy's. I mean, there's nothing on Tommy's side of the creek that is contributing to the erosion that she's experiencing. The lots that are gonna back up to the creek, there's gonna be a green belt that follows the creek. So the lots that are up against the creek are gonna have their own, privacy fence. And then there's space between that line and the creek. So, and we haven't worked out the ownership, but most likely Tommy's probably gonna own all of that, and just keep it, and not extend the lot lines down to the creek, just to protect the trees and that sort of thing. So, as far as the engineering, I mean, we will, of course, comply with all the city ordinances, drainage ordinances. There's very detailed and strict ordinances related to drainage and how we release the drainage, and all those studies will be done at the appropriate time and submitted to the city for review. And from a traffic standpoint, if the city engineer thinks that a traffic impact analysis is warranted, then we'll do that. We haven't looked at the actual average daily counts for Swinging Bridge, but I'm sure this will be a pretty, overall, a small percentage increase in traffic. But if we need to do a TIA, we certainly will. And is there any other questions that I could try to address?
Anybody else have any questions?
Angela, if at some point it's zoned accordingly to what he's wanting, and then there would be a halt on new construction at a certain unit count if,
So because there's only one way in and one way out, that limits the number of lots. Is that what you're asking? It limits the number of lots. He cannot exceed 60 lots in that subdivision. Is that what you're asking?
traffic count, they'll do that prior?
If the city engineer requires a traffic impact analysis, that will be done when plans have been submitted, and they'll review it and say, if the city engineer says, hey, we need a TIA, he'll let Joe know.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mhm. Anybody else in opposition to this request? All right. Any additional questions or comments? If there are no additional questions or comments, I will now entertain a motion.
I move that we approve.
Okay. All right. Is there a second?
A second.
All right. All those in favor say yes.
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 Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. We are now on to item D of the regular agenda.
Thank you. Public hearing will be held to consider application Z26-04 filed by Atlas Shrugged Longview, Texas LLC, requesting a rezone from general retail to heavy commercial zoning district for lots 11 through 14 and a portion of lot 15, block 1, New City Block 28, Northcutt Heights Addition, located at 119 West Marshall Avenue. The applicant is requesting a rezone of this property seen here on the zoning map from general retail to heavy commercial zoning district located at the northeast corner of High Street and West Marshall Avenue. A portion of this property is currently zoned heavy commercial. This is where the old CVS sits on High and Marshall. Half of this property is currently zoned heavy commercial. The applicant is asking to rezone the northern half of this property so that the zoning is consistent across the entire property. The future land use map does designate this area as retail. In 1996, the northern portion of this property was originally zoned to general retail. 2 stipulations were included as part of that approval process through the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council. I did add those 2 stipulations to a revised staff report. No pole signs or wall signs will be allowed on Northcutt Avenue other than incidental signs such as enter-exit signs at the driveway and drive-in window. An 8-foot wooden privacy fence will be erected along Northcutt Avenue in such a manner as to buffer the adjoining residential areas. High Street and West Marshall are classified as principal arterial roadways and are maintained by TxDOT. Access management is essential to avoid traffic congestion and delays caused by turning movements for vehicles entering and exiting the roadway. Staff does find that the proposed zoning change is consistent with surrounding uses, therefore it does not constitute spot zoning. If the commission chooses to approve the request, staff recommends that the stipulations outlined in the staff report be incorporated as conditions of the approval. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Anybody on the commission have any questions for Angela? All right. Is the applicant present?
My name is Roger Decay. I live at 1069 Boxhall Drive in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm the real estate broker that represents the owner.
Okay.
And the owner's proposition is that when he bought it after 18 years after it was built, and wondered from the get-go why the property was split between general retail and commercial, or commercial too, pardon me, heavy commercial. And time rocked along until CVS closed, and now the current owner wants to sell it. Mm-hmm. And we've had a lot of people, a lot of businesses look at it, and for your information, the gas station convenience stores have turned it down. Some other, what I would consider undesirable uses have turned it down. But again, this is a commercial corner. I mean, if you look at it, it's a commercial corner. And the stipulations that you've put on it are not a problem at all for anybody that has shown an interest in it. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. It just looks like it needs to be one zoning. And obviously, the owner would like it to be zoned up to the C2.
And just to be clear, gas stations and convenience stores are allowed in general retail zoning
Well,
district.
For whatever the purpose, you know, the big gas station convenience stores have said, you know, they weren't interested. And we've had interest from healthcare, finance, a lot of different users. But right now, we don't have a signed contract. I wish I did as a real estate broker. That's what we want, signed contracts. But we do have some serious tire kickers, and we would like to get it rezoned to C2, which would, could you go back to the other map? Well, that, I mean, the red. Oh, Lord, I realize how short it was. But this is the bottom half of the same ownership. So what the owner is saying is you gonna give me a boost up to point it out?
So what uses are looking at it that would require the C2? Because a lot of the uses that you've mentioned are allowed in general retail zoning district.
Well, we have a pawn shop, Cash America Pawn, and I don't even know that they are C2.
A pawn shop does require heavy commercial zoning district,
Okay.
but the other uses that you did mention require general retail, or allowed in general
So,
retail.
healthcare and some
Healthcare
of
is
those-
allowed in general
those guys.
retail, yes, sir.
And actually, the pawn shops consider themselves financial institutions now, so, for what that's worth. But anyway, it's a commercial corner. And what we'd like to do is zone the rest of this guy's ownership C2, so we can do something with it. That corner sat vacant for about 10 months, 12 months, and we'd like to do something with it, put it back into commerce before it attracts undesirable elements.
Did you say
So-
you had any prospective buyers that require C2?
Well, Cash America Pawn is one of the
one of them?
couple of prospective buyers. But I've tried to talk to him when I first got the listing a year ago to address the split zoning. But here we are.
Is the red heavy commercial, Angela?
Yes, that is correct. The red is heavy commercial, the hatched is general retail, and then that blue is single family 5.
So again, across North High Street is C2. On the other side of East Marshall Avenue is all C2. That, inside that green is, every commercial real estate broker in the country would look at that and say, that's C2. Or it should be. So, that's why I came over here on Mardi Gras. I see you got your beads on. Laissez-les bon temps rouler.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any in support of this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff. Are there any in opposition to this request? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the staff.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Sherry Ann Wilburn. I reside at 106 Northcutt Avenue. I stand here in opposition of this change. And I'm here with some more of my neighbors here, along with my councilperson Shannon Moore. And I oppose this because when I looked up the definition of heavy commercial, and I wrote it out because I'm a little nervous, okay, I'll read it. It says that it designates the area for high-intensity commercial activities that may be incapable with residential neighborhoods. And it would present permits for higher traffic, larger buildings, noise, orders, car dealership, manufacturing, warehouse, and we really don't want that in our neighborhood. So I would ask you all to consider the information I just presented. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Lakita Wiggins. I live at 507 North Center Street, and I'm also co-owner of 101 Northcutt. It's enough that that high zone area or the red area that you were talking about, that we have to deal with the tent shop, the pawn shop, or the tire shop. That the traffic in that area is hellacious, you know. And if you're gonna rezone that for commercial and intensify that, I have grandkids. The family member that lives in 101 Northcutt, she has children, 6 and under. So all that traffic is just gonna increase the dangers. The tent shop, there's traffic coming in there all day long. From, I guess they have a contract with the dealerships and all that other kind of stuff, so it's traffic coming in there all day long. So if you rezone that to commercial and God knows what is gonna be there, I literally live right here. This is my home here. So all that in the 101 Northcutt, I'm on that corner. So the traffic is gonna be crazy. You know, so tell me what's gonna be there, that I don't have to have that worry about my kids or my grandkids, and the traffic is gonna increase. You know, up and down Center Street and on Northcutt, and on High for that matter. You know, when CVS was there, it was crazy. So anything else that's gonna be bigger than CVS will be extra crazy. So I oppose this.
All right. Thank you.
And I've been in that house for 20 years.
Anyone else?
Hello, I am Wendy Stinson, and I currently live at 117 Northcutt. I have been there for almost 8 years now, and I actually live right behind CVS and right next to Sherman-Williams. I am there at the half where those big semi-trucks can come as well and park right in front of my house, which is bad enough. I can't get company in, can't get family in, can't get myself in half of the time because they're parked right there. My neighbor, he's actually right back there, lives right next door to me. In the middle of the night, there are tow trucks coming into the car garage that's right next door to CVS all times of the night. I have moved my son to a whole nother room on the other side of the house because it just got to be ridiculous. All times. My husband gets off at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and when he come home, it's still bad because it's still traffic. The tow trucks coming in and out, and of course we can avoid FedEx and all them from coming, but the big trucks that comes in, when they're coming over there to Sherman-Williams, or if they're coming over there delivering trucks, they'll pull up in his yard just to back in off into that place. Our road is not big enough for those big trucks and all those the commercial trucks and everything to come down. So I also oppose.
Thank you.
My name is Kenny Graham.
Yes.
I live at 109 Northcutt. I lived there on that street for 75 years. It's a residential area, nice one. And it's got to where now all that traffic, even from the store there on gonna be bad. And the thing about it is, the price of the land is going down when they move in over there. And we'd be lucky if we can give it away because it's a residential, because ain't nobody gonna want to move in there where all that mess is. And I thank you.
Thank you.
So are you guys, that's incredible, you lived there 75 years. Wow, that's incredible. So you guys, do you think that the chances are more probable that the traffic might go down if something else goes in there? Because I'm just thinking of this, if I lived there, CVS was pretty crazy. It's gone. It's gonna be hard to top that kind of traffic. So I mean, your chances are probably that it might get maybe a little better, I would think. I don't know.
The city overlaid the street about a year and a half ago. Now the street is already in bad shape from those big vehicles going up and down the street as it is. It hadn't been a year and a half that they overlaid that street. So I would think that it would get worse with being rezoned for that heavy equipment that would be there. Or I just think that it would be worse, yes.
And what everybody's saying is true. You know, I'm worried about the concern of it being heavy commercial. I could set my clock at the time the dumpsters are gonna come and pick up the trash from Subway in the tent shop, you know, at 5:30 every morning. I'm not gonna get any sleep. I'm not gonna get any sleep if it's heavy commercial. You know, I mean, I'm a night nurse, I'm a registered nurse, and I would like to come home and go to sleep. But like I said, I can set my clock. By the time I can hear all the dump trucks and all the trucks that are coming, especially and the trucks that are coming to the car dealership. I mean, it's a residential area. I would like for it to stay residential. You know, and I do realize all the retail stores are there, and that's something that we've had to acclimate to. I don't wanna have to acclimate to it becoming heavy commercial.
So it's general retail now, and, you know, it won't ever go back to residential probably. It's probably gonna stay general retail, so.
And that, I can accept that, but the
Yeah,
heavy commercial.
and that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
You can accept that, you know what's there.
Yes.
So if it's a retail type facility, y'all can live with that. You know,
Yes.
the
Yes.
question would be, you know, if down the road, you know, he does have a sale for something that is more retail, but requires general commercial, i.e. a pawn shop or something like that, that is more of a retail thing, you know, would that be something that you would be in opposition to as well?
You know, just supposing the heavy equipment.
Yeah, I mean,
Rezoning.
the commercial thing is somewhat scary. You don't want, you know, something that's manufacturing or something like that right next to you. I understand that. But if it was more of a retail business that required a commercial designation,
Well, I mean, like I said, it's been retail. You know, if it stays retail, that's fine. But
Yeah.
the heavy commercial aspect of it, no, sir.
Yes, we agree on that. We all agree on that.
And there's no guarantees that whoever comes after that will stay. So once y'all zone it heavy commercial, that's what it'll be. And so what they're saying is they feel safer with it being general retail with all the things that they go. These people have been on that street for years. They're on their home. They're rather their taxes go up and their values go up than to bring heavy commercial in there and their values go down. So we have to think about the people instead of the business, because general retail will come there. I'm confident that it'll come there on their spot.
So Angela, when, obviously Highway 80 is commercial, when they built the CVS, did they take in residential on the north side and they just did?
Yes,
They
so it
zoned
was.
general retail, cause that's what they were putting there anyway?
That's correct. So they didn't need the heavy commercial zoning, and it was actually, it was rezoned for an Eckerd's when I looked at the old plans. And so that type of use doesn't need heavy commercial zoning, just needs general retail. So they just rezoned it to general retail with those stipulations.
So that's why it's split, because they
Yes.
took SFR and turned it into
Yes,
retail.
yes, that's correct. And so, you know, and heavy commercial does allow some pretty intense uses, you know, like nightclubs and, you know, machine shops and things like that. So though, it does allow for some pretty intense uses.
Could that be gas station?
A gas station is allowed in general retail. Convenience stores are allowed in general retail. Offices, doctors' offices are allowed in general retail zoning district.
I don't see anybody doing heavy commercial, or that being very realistic, that area, but, I mean, you are on a major, right off the major road, but I could just see a convenience store or retail going back in there. But I understand what they're talking about too. I wouldn't want, I surely wouldn't want a nightclub there if I lived there, especially like that gentleman, 75 years.
You can, yeah. Oh, go ahead if you've got, yes, go ahead.
I'm Bernadette Miller, address is 105 North Cut Avenue, and I would just be echoing everything that has already been said. A concern that hasn't been mentioned are like screening codes, like with the 8-foot fence or whatever. I know right across the street from Mr. Kenny, the owner of that lot was told he had to have a fence. There hasn't been a fence put up. So my biggest concern is that we put rules in place for them to be followed, but they're not being followed or enforced. So that's a huge concern.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Any additional questions or comments? If there are no additional questions or comments, I will now entertain a motion.
I'm sympathetic to their plight as far as continuing heavy commercial down North High Street, and, you know, they changed the SFR for that specific purpose. I don't really see taking it to commercial, so my motion would be to deny.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? All right. Motion is denied. Angela, we have no
staff
staff
update.
updates tonight.
Yes, there wasn't a council meeting, and so the
Yes.
council meeting will be next week, and I'll give you a staff update at that time. at the
All
next
righty.
P&Z meeting.
This concludes tonight's meeting. We are now adjourned.